The maker of this wine makes other wines that are often 5 times the cost. This wine is a pretty close match. See how it pairs up in this episode of Tuesday Night Wines. Hi, welcome to Tuesday Night Wines. I'm John Leonard, host of the Honest Pour Wine podcast, and I'm also an award-winning wine journalist. Tuesday Night Wines is about wines that are everyday wines. They're usually under $20 a bottle. Sometimes they go up to $25 a bottle, but generally under $20 a bottle. Easily findable. You can usually find them at larger wine shops, even at your own supermarket. You're going to buy it, bring it home, pop it that night. You're not even going to finish that bottle. You probably stuff the cork back in it, set it on the counter, and have the rest in a night or two. And it's a wine that, most of all, is delicious. The reason I do this show is that once you get in that under $20 a bottle price range, there's a lot of scary, bad, kind of awful wines there. But if you know what you're looking for, and with the right guidance, there's some beautiful wines to be found. Before we get into tonight's wine, if you like this show and the content I'm bringing you, if you want to find out about great wine values and other great wine content that I'm about to produce, please click that subscribe button below. It's a little thing for you, but means a lot to me. I'm trying to get to 500 subscribers, and if you can help me out with that, I'd really appreciate it. Tonight's wine is what's called a second label wine. And what a second label wine is a wine that's made by a higher-end producer, a high-end label, and maybe the grapes that they grew that year didn't quite meet the quality level that they normally put into their top-end wine. The idea of a second label goes all the way back to the mid-1800s in Bordeaux, when high-end Bordeaux labels encountered some poor vintages or maybe just some poor crops from certain vineyards, and they didn't want to sacrifice the quality that goes into their high-end label, and thus sacrifice the quality of the idea of their brand. So what they did was, rather than tossing those grapes, they still used them to make money, they just created a different label to make still high-quality wines. And one of the interesting things about a second label is while the grapes that are going into them might not meet the standards of that top-end brand of the winery, they're still made with the same attention to detail, the same philosophy of wines that are sometimes 5 times or more the price. And that's the case in today's wine. Tonight's wine is a Merlot. And Merlot gets a bad rap because in the movie Sideways, there was that one scene where the actor said,
"No, if anybody orders Merlot, I'm leaving. I am not drinking any fucking Merlot!"
And with that one little scene, it devastated the Merlot business. In fact, it hurt so much that I talked to a winemaker once from Washington area, and he poured me this taste of his wine, and it was a beautiful, delicious wine. And I asked him what the grapes were. He says, it's 100% Merlot. I asked him, well, why didn't you just call it Merlot then? He said, I introduced the wine the same year that Sideways came out, and nobody could sell Merlot. So he had to completely rename his wine, redesign the label, re-go through the BATF approval just in order to sell his wine. Now, the movie Sideways wasn't the only reason Merlot took a hit during that time. In fact, Merlot was a real trendy grape variety, and there was a lot of bad Merlot being made out there, and it sort of hurt itself as well. But the fact of the matter is, Merlot can be made into a delicious wine. Some of the finest wines in the world are made from Merlot. And in fact, this Merlot is made by, again, I told you this is a second label wine. It's made by a winery that won Best Wine of the Year from Wine Spectator for one of its top-end Merlots.
Oh, oui.
So, because you have a winery that knows how to handle Merlot, knows how to grow Merlot, makes some delicious Merlots, this wine at $20 a bottle can offer winemaking expertise and winemaking styles that go into a wine of much higher price. Don't be afraid of Merlot. Merlot is a great wine, a delicious wine, an appealing wine. Let's give it a taste. First of all, we give it a little smell. Wow. I'm getting a lot of black cherry, plum. There's an Asian spice, like an Asian 5-spice note, a little bit of cumin even to the smell. That's really surprised me. Some cocoa. We'll give a taste. Wow. Velvety smooth. Very fine, soft tannins. Flavors of big forward fruit flavors, but not aggressive. The fruity flavors are cherry, a little bit of raspberry in there, plum, that luscious plum kind of note. And again, I get that spiciness, that cumin, Asian 5-spice, and just nice, round, rich texture. This wine could go with a lot of different foods, maybe some lamb, a pork chop, steak even, barbecue. This would be great with barbecue, or heck, even a nice pizza. This would be beautiful with a nice pizza. So what is the wine? The wine is 2019 Merlot made by Decoy. Now, Decoy is the second label of the Duckhorn Vineyard. You've probably heard of Duckhorn, very high-end Napa Valley producer. Now, this wine cost me $20 a bottle. The suggested retail on it is $25, but I've seen it all over at $20 a bottle. I bought this wine at a large wine retailer. I've seen it recently at the supermarket, always around always under $20 a bottle. So you can check this out. Decoy, the second label of Duckhorn, Decoy Merlot, really delicious. This is the 2019 vintage. I hope you enjoy. Remember to click subscribe and like below to keep getting my wine content. Thanks for joining me on Tuesday Night Wines, and cheers!